I'm Scott Rouse. I'm a body language expert and analyst, and I train law enforcement in the military in interrogation and body language. Mark?
I'm Mark Bowden. I'm an expert in human behavior and body language. Help people all over the world to stand out, win trust, gain credibility every time they communicate, including some of the leaders of the G7. Chase.
Hey, I'm Chase Hughes. I did 20 years in the military, wrote the #1 best-selling book on influence, persuasion, and behavior profiling, and I train people in those things today. Greg?
I'm Greg Hartley. I'm a former Army interrogator, interrogation instructor, resistance to interrogation instructor. I've written 10 books on body language and behavior, put together the #1 bodylanguagetactics.com course with Scott. I spend most of my time on Wall Street or corporate America.
All right, today we're going to talk about Travis Scott and what happened at the concert that he was performing at. And Greg, I think you found the video and have the details on this. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, I think it's called... Now I'm going to make a mistake here. I think it's called Astroworld, the Astroworld Festival.
That's true.
And he was in a concert, and there are now 9 confirmed dead people from some crush in the concert. And there's a lot of conjecture. People jump to conclusions about what's going on and whether he had any part in it and all of that kind of thing. I saw as late as today, 1 more person died. This reminds me of when I was young, the Who concert, of course, where there was the same kind of tragedy. And what we're not going to cover here is any kind of investigation. What we're not going to cover here is any of the facts of the case, because that's not what we're doing. We're going to look at his apology or his statement after this concert for any indicators that his body language is telling us that he's being honest, that he's being whatever. That's what we're here for.
All right, here we go.
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time. My fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience. And anytime I can make out, anything that's going on, I stop the show and, help them get the help they need, I could just never imagine the severity of the situation. We've been working closely with everyone to just try to get to the bottom of this. The City of Houston, HPD, Fire Department, everyone help us figure this out. So if you have any information, please just contact your local authorities. Everybody continue to just keep your prayers. I'm honestly just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this just happening. And I'm gonna do everything I can to keep you guys updated and just keep you guys informed on what's going on. Love you all.
All right, Chase, what do you got?
This head touching is crazy. I've never seen anyone do this this much before. So I had to go back this morning, and I had a chance to look at this for a few minutes this morning. I watched several videos and interviews of him. This is not in his baseline. This forehead touching and all this is not in his baseline. I'll let you guys talk about what that means and what that could potentially mean for what we're doing here. I think the insurance that you have to get to hold an event like this is probably millions and millions of dollars worth of liability insurance. And I would assume that they likely told him not to apologize for anything that happened or to admit guilt for anything that happened. So if you're seeing that and thinking that there's some guilt here, I don't think that's what we're looking at. This forehead touching and rubbing is most likely self-soothing, and we don't see a lot of grief. We see some nervousness, and we see some insecurity here, and failing for words, not really knowing exactly what to say. I think he's of course very sad this happened, but is more worried about the impromptu, uncrafted message and how it's going to be perceived. And I think this is potentially the cause of some of the insecure or self-soothing behaviors that we're seeing here. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, so I wonder about the impromptu nature of this, Chase, because when I look at the statement is quite a well-crafted statement in some ways. So, but there is, just like you're saying there's some major I guess, discontinuity between what I'm seeing in the body language and how well crafted that statement seems. Let me just fill that out a bit. So the statement is good, but the nonverbal as a generalization for me seems stressed and tired. And then when you put that alongside the control over the image here, in that he's got height dominance over the camera, and it's been, I expect, filtered in some way to be presented in black and white, rather than I would presume the color with which that phone, I'm going to assume it's on a phone. I'm going to assume this was loaded straight up to, I think, WhatsApp, though I don't know. There may have been some third parties in the way. But if there is a third party in the way, or he uploaded this, I wonder why it's been converted into black and white. I wonder why that dominating position. It seems like there is some craft around perception management here, not only in the way it's constructed, the dialogue there, or the statement there, but also the visual presentation. So it rings some alarm bells for me, in that really what you want to be doing here is a fairly good statement, like I think that is, but then really not so much demonstration of the emotion there, because the focus needs to be on the victims here, in a kind of a PR 101, focus on the victims, not yourself. But he's drawing huge amounts of attention to himself and his own stress and confusion and potential tiredness. I see there. I'm honestly just devastated. That doesn't need the honestly in there. I'm just devastated would be fine. Look, in a PR 101 situation here, it would be a good statement that he's making there, but it needs to be delivered with actually way less demonstrative feeling, way less layers of application of different color and angle on it. Hope that makes sense to everybody. Scott, what have you got on this one?
All right, I see what you're saying. And right out of the gate, what he's saying, he says, I want to send prayers out to the ones that was lost last night. That was verbatim what he said. So you don't send out prayers to the victims. You send them out to God, or whoever your God is, don't get me wrong, about that. And, I guess that everything would go well and those types of things. I think, in my opinion, a lot of this stuff turns inward, turns toward himself. It's a lot of focus on himself, even from what you were saying, Mark, from the angle of the camera to the, making it black and white so it looks cool. But that's his thing. He's got to look cool. He's got to do all those things. I think this whole thing with the hand rubbing his head, that could be an adapter. I'm sure it is in a way, because he doesn't know what he's going to say. And I'm sure, like you said, Chase, they've given him and said, look, don't say this, or this, and then do it. So go do that if you're going to do it. And because he has to put something out. That's the way things are these days. So he says what he's saying, and it just looks so uncomfortable, because I think he feels bad about it, but he doesn't feel, he's not connected to those people. And it was just a big old bunch of people, and he doesn't feel that connection to them, I don't think. I haven't been in the music business in a long time. I know one of the things that the artists, from what I understand, is you connect with your audience and you watch them and you listen to them. You watch Dave Grohl. He pays such close attention to his audiences. When someone starts a fight, he kicks them out. He stops the show and says, "You got to go, man." So I'm not so sure Travis was connecting with his audience the way he should, because I've seen video of everybody hollering at him to stop because there was something happening. And if he didn't see something happening and couldn't realize there was a problem, not that he would know what was going on exactly, or that people were dying. And I don't know if it was up front. I think it was out toward the gates. Then how could he, so on that part of it, I'm with him. I totally get it. How the heck could he know any of that? But it seems a little bit inwardly focused on that, because he says I 8 times through the whole thing. He says I'm 3 times, and we're 3 times. He only mentions them, I think, twice in the whole thing, at the beginning and toward the end. But overall, I think he's concerned and he feels bad about it, definitely. But what can he do about it? And he doesn't feel that connection with his audience that I think a lot of performers feel. So that's my take on it. Greg, what do you got?
Yes, I'm going to surprise you and tell you I've seen him perform. You would never have imagined that, probably.
Where was this? Where was
I was
this?
at Super Bowl 19, Super Bowl in 2019.
How was it? Was it awesome?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm not surprised he can't hear anything, because the number of people who were just going crazy, I didn't know who he was. I mean, I was there for the Super Bowl, and it was a great, big halftime show with lots of folks.
Was it too loud for you, Greg?
Noise generated. Yeah, I'm old. So, no, the amount of noise generated by his fans was amazing. So I'm not surprised he couldn't hear what was going on in the back, number one. Number two, I think that this thing, I've known people, remember I was in construction for a long time, and people in construction are under high stress, and some people rub their forehead under stress. Now, if you give this guy a message that he's not allowed to say, this is not a guy who has been in a lot of trouble this way, then rubbing his forehead might be a way to soothe, might be a way to relax. We call those adapters or comforting gestures, whatever it is. But a lot of times people will massage those muscles in the middle of their forehead. That's just part of who they are. I will also tell you, he breaks a lot of eye contact, and you might immediately jump to that means something. But Chase, like you, I watched an Ellen interview with him. I watched one with his girlfriend, spouse, whatever you want to call her, Kylie Jenner. And I watched one other one with, I forget who it was, but in all of those, I think it was Forbes, in all of those, he breaks eye contact when he's thinking, and he breaks eye contact down and only makes eye contact when he's trying to make a point. So that's his baseline. He's kind of got a geeky laugh, and, he's just not a guy who makes a lot of eye contact. So that's not a red flag for me. This isn't. What I hear there, and I think you're right, Mark, is there's some preparation that went into it. Let's face it, when you have his amount of resource, you're going to talk to a lawyer before you say anything, or they're going to talk to you whether you want them to or not. And I think what we're seeing here is exactly that. They've given him some prepared things to say he's trying to get out, but he's also trying to get out whatever it is he wants to say, and that stress is causing him to do a lot of this. So I see genuine. I think we're probably seeing, what he has to deliver with some preparation. That would be the way I would put it. That's it.
Excellent.
That's what I got.
All right, well, let's run around the room and everybody very quickly give an overview of what you think's going on. We'll start with Mark, we'll go to Chase, and then Greg, and then I'll wind it up. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, best I can say about this is it's a little bit of a PR misstep. I mean, not to minimize what's happened here in terms of the casualties and the deaths and the tragedy here. It then turns into a PR misstep for me because there's too much gloss, essentially, or work been done on the imagery here, too much presentation of emotion here, whether it's real or not. I think it's most likely real, but a little bit big for this situation. And I think he probably feels a little bit suppressed in that there are things he can say and things he can't say. And essentially, he's a lyricist. He's somebody who is known for saying stuff in a certain way. And here, he can't be a poet in this situation. He has to be a diplomat and a lawyer and hold his cards quite close. Chase, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, really agree with that. If you look at him anywhere else, he's one of the musicians, rock stars, fill in the blank, whatever, that is used to performing actions that put him in the center of attention. Like the diamond teeth thing, the outfits that he wears, the way he behaves is, please, I need to be the center of attention in every room. And now he's got to make a video where he's not. And I think that was very difficult. The emotions, I think, are real, but I think it was very difficult for him to come forward and actually be a leader that is putting someone else before himself and not being the center of attention. I think the black and white video might have been an attempt to mute some of his flashiness there. Maybe the advice of somebody that is on his PR staff or something like that. Greg?
Yeah, I think, again, I see him trying to deliver a message. Probably has a lot of things rolling in his head, more than one tape running, because what he wants to say, what he's been told not to say, and that's creating stress, and it makes him, rub his forehead. Whether that's good or bad for his PR, don't know. I mean, does it connect with the people it needs to connect with? When you have the kind of money that's involved in this and the kind of inevitable lawsuits that are going to come as a result of this, I think I read yesterday there are already 16 or 18 lawsuits, then you're under high duress. And this is not a guy who's been in that situation, I would think, many times. And, he does want to connect with the people who support him and that kind of thing. And I guarantee he's had some coaching, whether he sought out the coaching or not. That's what I got. I think he's mostly honest. Scott?
All right, I agree with you guys. We're seeing high stress. And that's the thing. And again, I think you guys are right. We're seeing he's getting the idea across, but he doesn't know specifically what he's going to say, but he's got to cover specific. They said, cover these things as you talk about, but do not say this. I think that was might have been the most training he got. I don't know how long after, do we know how long after this happened that he's doing this? Is it at that show?
I didn't check that. No, it wasn't at the show, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I thought maybe it was afterwards. But I think we're just seeing a lot of stress, and we're seeing all the things we should see in somebody is in that situation. So if somebody thinks, doesn't really feel the grief there, even though we're not seeing a whole lot of grief muscle, we're seeing a lot of stress there. I think we're seeing stress from all the things that have happened at the show. And if he's got information, dude, we're going to get sued. We're going the hole on this one. I think that might be what we're seeing as well. So I think everything is real. Looks all the way it should to me. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Good.
All right, good. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe. Just hit that little red thing down there, and you'll become a panelist. Just like all the people that are subscribers, they become panelists. It's not that you're any more special than anyone else, but we do read your emails, and we do reply to the ones who are panelists a lot faster than we do to a non-panelist. How's that sound? That sounds
I would
bad.
say they are more special
Yeah.
to us.
I think you might be right.
I like them more.
Me too.
Okay.
The shinier, the glossier.
That's true. All right. I'll see you guys next time.
See you all.
No van a ser, no, sincero.